Basically, the fight, as we all know, is a 12-round light heavyweight fight. It's going to be for the WBA final title eliminator. On the line, we have Dominic Boesel. We're ready to start with the questions. Let's start off with Jake Donovan from Boxing Scene.
Great, thanks, Cecilia. Dominic, I have a two-part question for you. One, just how long you've been waiting to make your US debut, and if like a fight like this was the right opportunity, but like you waited for an opportunity like this to make your US debut.
Dominik, die Frage ist, wie lange hast du sozusagen für diesen Auftritt in den USA gewartet? Das ist das eine. Und das zweite, ist das jetzt sozusagen die richtige Chance für dich, die richtige Möglichkeit, dieses jetzt zu machen?
Ja, also ich bin ja schon, also erstmal bin ich immer im Training und immer bereit, schnell einen Kampf zu machen. Und ich habe auch schon immer gesagt, wenn ich mal in den USA boxen kann, gegen einen großen Mann einen großen Kampf machen kann, dann mache ich das, dann bin ich dafür da. Also.
Dominic said he's always in training, so he's every time in good shape. And I've always told everybody here that when there's a fight in the States and a big fight in the States, he's always available and he's prepared for that all time.
Okay, thank you. And then my second question, I guess, final question. How important was it for him to avenge his loss to Robin Krasniqi in moving forward in this stage of his career?
Wie war sozusagen für dich der Kampf in der Wichtigkeit, den jetzt gegen Robin gewonnen zu haben in deiner Karriere?
Dass ich den Kampf jetzt nochmal gewonnen habe, den zweiten oder was?
Exakt.
Ja, also das war sehr, also ich habe ja gesagt, vorher verliere ich den Kampf, beende ich wahrscheinlich meine Karriere. Von daher war der Kampf sehr, sehr wichtig und ja, mir ist eine riesen Last abgefallen, als ich danach Punkten gewonnen habe und klar, es geht alles weiter. Ich freue mich auf den nächsten Kampf. Ich konnte weiter trainieren. Ja, mein Leben als Boxprofi ging weiter.
At least in the situation, he always told these, surrounding. If he lost this fight, he will finish his career. We want to retire, so he won. So there's no way that it's the way that he will continue his career and he will continue boxing. He's still a professional fighter.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Chris.
Next, Tom Bachman from DPA. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah. Is it okay if I ask in German?
Yes.
Okay.
Christoph,
I will translate.
can you do
or he can do it by himself. Yeah, so it's a little bit shorter in the translation.
A
Yeah?
general translation would be great. Thank you, Christoph.
Okay. Ja, hi Dominik. Wenn man so quer liest, dann gehst du als der mega Außenseiter irgendwie in diesen Kampf als totaler Underdog. Würdest du das auch so unterschreiben und kannst du mal ein bisschen was zu Ramírez erzählen, was du über ihn weißt? And now in English, Dominic, when you like read about the fight, you like the total outsider, the underdog in this fight. Do you agree with that? And can you tell me a little bit about the things you know about Ramírez?
Ja, Ramírez ist ja in Deutschland auch kein Unbekannter. Ich meine, er hat damals Abraham ganz schön klar geschlagen und ich habe den Kampf damals auch gesehen. Und klar, er hat eine lupenreine Weste, 41 Kämpfe, alles gewonnen, ist in der Weltrangliste vorne neben mir. Und er ist technisch sehr stark, er kann auch Druck machen, er hat auch eine hohe K.O.-Quote, also er ist schon ein sehr kompletter Boxer. Und ja, alle sehen mich in der Außenseiterrolle, aber es ist mal angenehm, dass ich mal nicht zu Hause diesen Stress habe mit den Medien, mit den Fans drumherum, sondern den ganzen Trubel hat er. Er hat den Druck, er ist der Favorit und ich kann ganz locker aufschlagen. Und ich muss so sagen, ich freue mich einfach sehr auf den Kampf. Ich habe sehr gut trainiert und aber auch mit einer gewissen Leichtigkeit, weil ich wirklich alle denken, okay, er ist der Favorit, aber ich will es ihm zeigen, ich kann überraschen. Sein letzter Kampf war nicht besonders, das habe ich gesehen. Er hat auch Schwächen und gerade ich weiß, wie es ist, wenn man überrascht wird und den anderen unterschätzt.
I was
Also, Entschuldigung.
Yeah, it's okay. So I will try this in the rough version. Ramírez is well known in Germany because of his fight against Abraham. So he has 41 fights. He won all his fights. with a high quota of KOs, and so he's a perfect and partly perfect fighter. But for Boesel, it's good enough that he's not under pressure in this moment. And mostly in Germany, he was under pressure because he was the titleist. He was the guy with the belt, and so he is common with his role as an underdog. So he will see it to surprise everybody.
Thank you for that. Next, we have Cynthia Conte from Ring TV.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, my son is screaming in the background. Okay, Dominic, knowing this is your US debut, can you, for people who probably don't know who you are or your style, what kind of style are you going to be bringing to Zurdo May 14th?
What kind of style, or what is
fighting style? Is he an aggressive fighter? Is he a boxer? Or is he planning to do? Is he a combination?
Dominic, du bist ja mehr, ist ja sozusagen dein US-Debüt, und für die amerikanischen Journalisten, für die Boxing-Fans drüben, vielleicht beschreibst du deinen Stil, wie du jetzt sozusagen bisher geboxt hast, und im Zweifel nicht jetzt unbedingt, dass du jetzt, wie du gegen Ramírez boxst, aber wie ist so grob dein Boxing oder dein Boxstil?
Okay. Naja, erstmal bin ich in meiner Gewichtsklasse ziemlich groß und habe immer versucht, auf der Langdistanz zu boxen, und kann aber den Gegner sehr gut lesen und kann mich dementsprechend anpassen, was hat er für Stärken, was hat er für Schwächen, und bin, auch wenn ich mal alle denken, es ist gleich gegen mich zu boxen, bin ich doch sehr unbequem, und am Ende habe ich immer gewonnen. Oder fast immer.
So for his weight loss, he's tall. He mostly came from the long distance. He's able to read his opponent, and he's able to, in short terms, he can change his style. And because of his boxing skills, he is very optimistic that he can, also get this Ramírez guy.
Okay, thank you for that. Next, we have Tom Haberlein from DPA. Go ahead, Tom.
I know my last name is a little bit difficult. And actually, I'm from SID, which is another news agency from Germany, but doesn't matter. I'll ask in English and in German, so you don't have to translate. Dominic, die Halle wird gegen Sie sein. Ein Punktsieg von einem Herausforderer in den USA ist auch immer schwer. Wie stellen Sie sich darauf ein? Ich übersetze die Frage schnell. The crowd will be against you, and also winning after points by a challenger is always very difficult in the US. And how do you cope with that? Jetzt.
Also als erstes müssen wir ja mal sagen, also ich bin noch vor ihm gerankt, also eigentlich gehe ich auch als zweites in den Ring und ich bin nicht der Herausforderer, das stimmt nicht. Okay, und klar, das ist ziemlich nah an der Grenze, viele Mexikaner leben dort, alle werden ihn unterstützen, und da wird schon ziemlich großer Hype sein. Aber ich habe auch Erfahrungen aus früheren Amateurkämpfen, Bundesliga, wenn wir mit der auswärts geboxt haben, und das hat mich eher gepusht, wenn alle gegen mich waren, und deswegen, also das beeindruckt mich nicht. Ich meine, im letzten Kampf gegen Krasnitschi waren ja auch sehr viele Fans von ihm in der Halle, und die Stimmung war eher pro ihm. Das hat mich auch gar nicht gestört, also das beeinflusst mich nicht.
Okay. I will have a follow-up question after that, if possible.
Okay, I will translate. Dominic said it's first of all, he is WBA 1, so ranked on 1. Ramírez is ranked on 2. That's first his basement. He knows about this. There are a lot of Mexican fans, boxing fans are around, and there will be a big hype around Ramírez, especially in the venue. But mostly he has the experiences in the last years of his career that this will pushing him. So he's not afraid of if the audience is against him.
I would have a follow-up question. Dominic, Sie haben über den Kampf gegen Abraham gesprochen, 2016 war der, glaube ich. Haben Sie sich mit dem Arthur Abraham mal ausgetauscht? Und, und die Anschlussfrage, die ich noch hätte, träumen Sie von einem Duell mit dem Canelo, wenn das sich entsprechend darstellt für Sie. The question was, did he talk to Abraham, who fought Ramírez in 2016, if I'm not mistaken? And does he dream of a fight against Gemelo if things work out that way? Thank you.
Also direkt habe ich mich nicht mit Arthur ausgetauscht, aber indirekt sehr, sehr viel, weil sein alter Trainer ist ja mein neuer, ja, Georg Bramowski. Und der kannte Ramírez damals schon, hat den damals schon studiert und auch Arthur darauf vorbereitet. Jetzt mich und weiß, was Arthur damals alles verkehrt gemacht hat. Das war ziemlich viel. Da meckert er auch heute noch und sagt, Mensch, ich hätte anders laufen können. Gut, und also von der Seite bin ich gut vorbereitet. Die zweite Frage war noch?
Nach dem Canelo.
Genau.
Ob das ein Traum von Ihnen ist?
Ja, klar. Also wer träumt nicht davon? Ich meine, er ist mit Abstand wirklich gerade der beste Boxer, den wir haben in unseren Gewichtsklassen. Der springt von oben nach unten und wird überall Weltmeister. Ich denke auch, er wird Bivol schlagen. Wie realistisch dann ist, gegen ihn trotzdem zu boxen, auch wenn ich den Kampf jetzt gewinne, sei mal dahingestellt. Er wird wahrscheinlich gegen Golovkin kämpfen. Aber trotzdem, ja, wenn ich gegen Ramírez gewinne, steht mir erstmal alles offen. Also dann kommen die nächsten großen Angebote und ich werde wahrscheinlich wieder im Ausland kämpfen, wieder in den USA. Ja.
Danke.
May I translate? He has not the direct contact to Arthur Abraham, but everybody needs to know that the former assistant coach of Arthur Abraham is Georg Bramowski. So he has a lot of hints and experience and inspections and all this what you do in front of a fight from Georg Bramowski. So this is maybe something like something in forward. To the second question, Canelo, he is something like a special boxer. So he's the best fighter. He is jumping in the weight classes and all time he is a world champion. So for him, it's something like a dream. But at first, he will look on this Ramírez fight, and if he can beat this guy, then everything is open for him. And he is also then somebody in the States, and the next fight will be in the States.
Thank you for that. Next, we'll talk to Miguel Maravilla from Fight News. Go ahead, Miguel.
Hi, Dominic. First of all, how do you feel about this opportunity in fighting Zurdo Ramírez? And style-wise, what does he bring to the ring? What do you see in his in Zurdo style and his last few fights? Have you watched his last few fights?
Also nochmal, wie du sozusagen diese Herausforderung, diese Möglichkeit siehst, dass du jetzt gegen Ramírez boxen kannst und dann eine Beschreibung dessen, wie du ihn siehst in seiner boxerischen Stilistik.
Ja, also wie gesagt, Ramírez ist sehr hochgewachsener Rechtsausleger, ist damit schon mal sehr unbequem und verteidigt sich sehr gut. Wenn er im Nahkampf steht, ist er trotz seiner Größe sehr, sehr stark und kann aber auf der Langdistanz und durch seine Rechtsauslage ist er sehr unbequem auch zu stellen. Sehr geschickter Boxer und ja, eine schwere Aufgabe.
Yeah, Ramírez once again is a tall guy, especially a southpaw. So also in the infight, this guy is very good. And so it's not easy to fight somebody in this special or in this kind of boxing skills, kind of fight culture.
And second, last question. This is this is your US debut. What can you tell the fans, those that haven't seen you fight? What do you bring to the ring? What's your style like?
Das ist nochmal die gleiche Frage, dein US-Debüt und was kannst du sozusagen den Boxfans in den USA sagen? Was ist dein Style? Wie ist deine Art zu boxen?
Also dasselbe, was wir vorhin schon mal hatten. Alles klar. Ja, wie gesagt, ich kann mich gut auf den Gegner einstellen und sehe seine Schwächen und seine Stärken und habe mich da immer ganz clever verhalten. Ich bin ein sehr erfahrener Boxer. Ich boxe schon ich habe mit 5 Jahren angefangen mit Boxen. Ich boxe 27 Jahre lang. Mich überrascht nicht mehr so viel Neues. Und ich habe auch schon in den USA trainiert und habe auch schon mit US-Jungs Sparring gemacht. Und Dario zum Beispiel, der mal da war auch Rechtsausleger. Ich habe zurzeit einen Weltklasse-Sparringspartner, einen Kubaner. Und der hat es auch nicht leicht gegen mich. deswegen bin gut vorbereitet.
For him, he can say he's in boxing for about 27 years, and so in his opinion, nobody can surprise him. He had a lot of experiences in the ring. He is able to read his opponents, and he's a clever fighter, and especially this American style. He had a lot of sparring partners from the States. In the moment, he had one from Cuba who is exactly the same as Ramírez. So he feels well prepared.
Okay, thank you. Now let's talk to Renee Miller from Volks Time. Go ahead, Renee.
Hello, good morning. Dominic, grüße dich. Wie lange weißt du eigentlich vom Kampf schon?
It's a question how long he knows about this fight.
Hallo René. Ja, also wir haben Anfang des Jahres wieder angefangen mit Trainieren, hatten eigentlich geplant, jetzt im Sommer zu kämpfen. Dann kam das Angebot rein vor, ich glaube, 2 Monaten ungefähr. Und ich war gut drauf und ja, dann ging die Verhandlung noch ein bisschen. Und ich habe aber relativ schnell zugesagt und habe gesagt, ja, die Chance nehme ich wahr.
Noch eine Frage hinterher. Was hast
Ja.
du eigentlich Möglichkeit, ein bisschen Sightseeing zu machen in den USA und wer ist aus deinem Team alles dabei?
Ja, also ich weiß auch von Trainingslagern, dass wenn man an tollen Orten ist, man trotzdem nichts davon hat. Deswegen waren wir clever und ich bleibe eine Woche später noch da und fliegen auch von San Francisco dann zurück. Also meine Eltern, meine Freundin kommen hinterher oder die kommen mit zum Kampf. Und von meinem Team, ja klar, Trainer ist dabei, ist klar, Jörg Hohmann, Cutman, Ulf kann leider nicht, weil wir selber veranstalten an den Tag. Dafür kommt sein Sohn mit, Justin, und der BDB-Präsident Pütz kommt mit noch als deutsche Vertretung. Das ist so das grobe Team. Kann sein, dass ich jemanden vergessen habe.
Und nein, also grundsätzlich ist es so, just a translation, he's starting the year, he knows about a big fight in the summertime. 2 months ago, he got this offer to fight in the States, so it takes time for all these surroundings in this. He is asked about the sightseeing, and we will say, or he said, it's not something he will do in front of the fight, but he will stay in the States for 1 more week with his girlfriend and his parents. The team will be a little bit reduced because SES Boxing has the same date an boxing event here in Germany. So it seems to be that there's a good team going over to the States.
Any follow-up questions, Renee? Okay, thank you.
Okay, it's okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you for that. Next, we have Adriana Noriega from Fino Boxing and Fox Deportes. Go ahead, Adriana.
Hi, good morning. Dominic, Zurdo has been very vocal in his path, saying that, looking for the victory and then trying to secure a second championship on a second division. I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on a victory over Zurdo would do what for your career.
Also im Groben, weil du ja schon da so ein paar Sachen gesagt hast in dieser Richtung, wenn du jetzt den Kollegen Zurdo schlägst, Ramírez, dann was wird das sozusagen in deiner Karriere ausmachen? Was heißt das für deine Karriere?
Ja, was heißt das für meine Karriere? Ja klar, am Ende habe ich dann auch den entscheidenden Eliminator gewonnen und ich bin der offizielle Herausforderer für Canelo oder Bivol. Ich meine, das ist ein Riesenkampf und ich habe mich auf der Weltbühne, also in den USA ist ja nun mal das Boxmekka neben England, präsentiert, habe da einen erfolgreichen Kampf gemacht, also besser geht's nicht. Das ist ein großer Schritt nach vorne, international.
At least if he win, he has won the eliminators, so the next option will be Bivol or Canelo, or the next challenger. At least he's talking about boxing is most popular in the States. In Germany, it's something like a boxing mecca. And so for him, it's a big, big step if he can win this fight.
Thank you, Adriana. Next, we have Guido Di Santis from MDR. Go ahead, Guido.
Der Kollege Di Santis muss das Mikro anmachen.
Mikro ist jetzt an, hoffentlich.
Wir hören dich.
Ja, alles klar. Also, Dominic, ich war damals in den Staaten und habe den Abraham-Kampf gesehen. Wir sind mit großen Hoffnungen hingereist. Das Urteil war, wenn ich nicht ganz falsch liege, 118, 120, 118, 120, 118, 120. Was machst du, damit dir das nicht Gleiche widerfährt? I was in America a couple of years ago. I saw the Abraham fight against Ramírez, and that finished 108, 120 three times. What do you have to do to avoid this result?
Also, ich werde natürlich meine Strategie nicht verraten, ja, ist klar, aber ich will das natürlich komplett anders angehen. Arthur war sehr, sehr passiv, so will ich nicht auftreten. Ich will da gewinnen, ja. Also entweder ich gehe da siegreich raus oder ich verliere halt K.O., keine Ahnung. Also, aber ich will nicht einfach nur passiv rumstehen und den Kampf über die Zeit bringen oder sowas. Also ich will da einen richtigen Boxkampf, einen richtigen Kampf liefern und nicht nur so ein Dahingeplätscherer. Ich will kein Opfer sein in dem Kampf, also nicht so wie Abraham.
So May's strategy is completely different. He has the way and is thinking that he will win or he will lose. So he don't want to be something like a passive or just defending fighter. So he's going straight on and win or lose. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Guido. Tom Bachmann, follow-up question from DPA.
Ja, eine Frage zu deinen Planungen bis zum Kampf. Also wann, vielleicht kannst du erzählen, wann du rübergehst, wie du das mit der Zeitumstellung machst, wie du da dich akklimatisierst. Just a quick follow-up concerning your travel plans, when you're going to fly, how do you handle the time difference, etc. Thanks.
Ja, mit den Planungen, das war alles noch ein bisschen schwierig. Heute ist Gott sei Dank vor 2 Stunden mein Visum angekommen. Also ich kann jetzt in die USA einreisen. Und ich kriege die Planung nachher noch oder jetzt in der nächsten halben Stunde, vielleicht habe ich sogar schon, eigentlich ist geplant, am Donnerstag zu fliegen. Dann haben wir noch genug Tage und da Zeit, Jetlag zu verarbeiten und auch Klima ist ja da auch ein bisschen angenehmer oder anders als hier in Deutschland, uns anzupassen und dann kann man am 14. entspannt kämpfen. Also wir haben genug Zeit, uns da vorzubereiten.
So in this moment, 2 hours ago, he received his visa. Sometimes it's something special with the state consulate. Then now he knows about his schedule. His schedule is originally planned for Thursday morning, going to the States, to LA directly. Hopefully he gets no problems with jet lag. He feels very calm with the climate over there because it's warm, fine, hopefully. That's right. Warm and it's something like summer, and yeah, this is the thing that he has no problem to feel fine there for the next days, starting from Thursday to Friday, and this is about 8 days to the fight.
Okay, it seems like those are all the questions we have for Dominic today. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Dominic, you are more than welcome to stay on the line. We are going to continue the call with William Zepeda next and Renee Alvarado, the co-main event. And then we will have Zurdo on the line afterward. Dominic, is there anything else you would like to say?
Also es geht jetzt gleich da in diesem anderen Kampf weiter. Später hinten drauf kommt Zurdo. Ob du noch was zu sagen hast, ob du noch was denjenigen hier Anwesenden mitteilen möchtest?
Ich glaube, bei den letzten habe ich schon gesagt, ich fahre dahin und ich will wirklich gewinnen oder ich verliere. Ich werde da alles reinschmeißen und dann werde ich sehen, was rauskommt. Also ich will kein passives Boxen machen, ich will da einen richtigen Kampf liefern und das werde ich auch tun.
His last words, he want to have a real good fight, a real fight. You will win or lose. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. So coming up next, William, are you there? William?
So we can go out, Cecilia?
Yes, Christoph, you can stay on the line if you'd like. Dominic can stay if he'd like, but you are free to go unless you want to stay on until Zurdo comes on and listen to what he has to say.
So to all these American colleagues, goodbye. See you soon, Dominic.
Goodbye.
Good
Thank
trip.
you.
That's it.
Thanks for the call. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Sie.
So,
Bye, thanks.
thank you. Okay, so tenemos a William Zepeda y a Renee Alvarado en la línea. Es el co-main event de Zurdo versus Boesel. If you guys have a question, please raise your hand. William, ¿te puedes quitar de mute? Renee, ¿te puedes quitar de mute también?
Ya, ¿me escuchan? Sí, ahora sí. Sí.
Renee,
Nee, die Mausel ist dran, der mit der tiefen Stimme. Scheiße.
so sorry. Renee,
Guck mal, ich geschrieben habe, der Dominic ist jetzt durch, aber es kommt, der Gegner kommt noch, der Zurdo Ramirez heißt der. Der kommt erst am Ende dieses Zoom-Calls.
Perdón por eso. Ok. So la primera pregunta va a venir de Miguel Maravilla de Fight News. Go ahead, Miguel.
William, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo está? Mira, primero, la pregunta es, ¿cómo te sientes de esta pelea ante René Alvarado, un veterano con mucha experiencia?
Pues la verdad me siento muy contento, muy emocionado. Voy a una pelea complicada, voy contra un campeón del mundo, un rival con experiencia, pero me siento muy contento y agradecido con él por esta oportunidad para seguir demostrando de qué estamos hechos.
La segunda pregunta, William, tu última pelea obviamente no estabas contento. Ganaste la pelea, pero no, el resultado había mucha crítica, o sea, ya ves, peleando en Tijuana es para complacer a la afición. ¿Cómo te sentiste después de esa pelea?
Pues yo salí a hacer mi trabajo al principio de la pelea. Yo sentí que el rival era muy cochino, muy se quejaba mucho, entraba con la cabeza. Entonces yo lo que quería era cuidarme de que pues, no me fuera a cortar con algo así, nada más un descuido. Entonces yo salí a trabajar, me enredé con él. Ahí aprendí también de esa pelea. Sí me siento un poquito, me frustré un poco por esa pelea, pero al final pues fue un aprendizaje que siempre uno va a aprender a las peleas. En este caso no salí muy contento, pero lo importante es que se dio la victoria.
The first couple questions for William were, how does he feel about this fight against Rene Alvarado? He said he was very excited. He knows that Rene is a very complicated fighter with a lot of experience, but he's definitely thankful for the opportunity. The second question was about his last fight in Tijuana, how he felt about the result there and how that fight looked. William's response was, he did his job. The fighter was sloppy. He was coming forward with his head and his that he would get injured, but he really learned from that experience. He was, of course, very frustrated with the style of the other fighter, but ultimately he was happy with the result, which was a victory for him. Go ahead, Miguel, do you have a follow-up question?
Yes, I do have a follow-up for Rene. Rene,
Claro.
obviamente tú has peleado, eres un veterano de este deporte, has enfrentado a todos los estilos. El William Zepeda, ¿qué tiene su estilo y qué le ve y cómo te sientes la oportunidad otra vez de estar en esta cartelera?
No, agradecido primeramente pues contigo porque tenemos salud sobre todas las cosas, que es lo más importante, y pues agradecerle a la empresa Golden Boy por esta gran oportunidad. Sabemos pues que este es un compromiso muy importante para mí, para mi carrera, de levantarnos, pues venimos de 3 derrotas seguidas en Estados Unidos, pues, y ganarle pues a William Zepeda sería algo, levantarnos, ¿verdad?, nuestra carrera. Sabemos pues la magnitud, ¿verdad? El peleador que tenemos enfrente de gran calidad. Y eso es lo que nosotros queremos, pues darnos a conocer más de lo que hemos ido haciendo, pero y con este tipo de rivales, ¿verdad? Con este tipo de rivales que tienen esta gran calidad.
The question was, what he thought about William's style and fighting William. His response was, first of all, he's thankful to God for good health and thankful for the opportunity. He knows that this is an important commitment and an important fight for him. After losing a few fights, winning against William would be a big boost for his career. And he understands that William is a high caliber fighter and would be very important to him this time around. Any other follow-up questions, Miguel?
No, that's it. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. The next question is from Mike from 26. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, thank you. First two questions are going to be for William. William, en tu última pelea, como dijiste que tenías problemas con el estilo por el cochino que estaba tu oponente, ¿tú crees que con ese estilo, viendo por esa experiencia, que te ha ayudado más a enfrentar el resto de tu carrera teniendo ese tipo de pelea?
Pues la verdad fue una pelea que yo estaba pactado para pelear con otro peleador, entonces ya estábamos preparando para ya habíamos hecho el trabajo para esa pelea. Desgraciadamente, una semana antes de mi pelea se cayó la pelea. El rival con el que peleé en Tijuana salió así de la nada y a mí no me gusta hacer ese tipo de cosas. Creo que todo el trabajo que yo he hecho siempre ha sido con responsabilidad y profesionalismo y el sacar nada más un compromiso por sacarlo nunca ha sido de mi gusto. Desgraciadamente topó esa oportunidad, no salieron las cosas como estaban planeadas, pero bueno, al final fue experiencia para combates posteriores, futuros, y eso es lo importante, que seguimos aprendiendo y sabemos reconocer lo importante que es seguir aprendiendo.
The question was again about his last fight in Tijuana, generally saying the fighter was sloppy and if this better equips him for the future. William's response was he was scheduled to fight another fighter originally. Unfortunately, that fight dropped off a week before the fight. And normally he doesn't like to fight fighters at short notice, but he felt committed to the event. And so he did so. But, you know, things didn't come out as expected, but it's still a learning experience for him. And, you know, the most important thing is to keep learning. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. Y luego, William, otra vez, este va a ser tu cuarto pelea, creo, dentro de un año. ¿Crees que la actividad como has tenido te está ayudando para si en este año te sale un chance para pelear por un título si ganas el 14 de mayo?
Sí, pues de hecho, esa era la oportunidad que nosotros queríamos de seguir peleando. Esto de la pandemia nos frenó un poco, pero no hubo problema. Seguimos, a pesar de que no tuvimos pelea, nos quedamos en el gimnasio para seguir trabajando, seguir corrigiendo cosas. Esta oportunidad ahorita que se nos da con un peleador de experiencia, un peleador fuerte, aguerrido, pues nos va a dar aún más experiencia. Y sí, primeramente Dios, que salgan todas las cosas como hemos venido trabajando. Esperemos que nos dé una buena oportunidad.
The question was about this being his first fight and if a world championship fight is nearby after May 14th. William's response was, you know, yes, the championship fight is the opportunity that he wants. Unfortunately, the pandemic did stall them a bit towards that journey, but fortunately for him, he kept training, he kept working, and this fight against Rene is a big fight. It's a big opportunity for him. You know, Rene brings a lot of experience to the table, and, you know, first of all that, with God willing, things come out on his side. Mike, any questions for Rene?
Yeah, one question.
Go ahead.
Okay. René, esta pelea con los estilos de los dos puede ser muy explosivo. ¿Te motiva más eso después de la pelea que tuviste con Gutiérrez, donde era más como boxeo comparado a la pelea anterior de ese?
Bueno, cada pelea no se parece a otra. Creemos porque el estilo de William es un estilo pues bastante que va a salir ganando pues el público por el estilo de ambos. Creo que somos dos peleadores que vamos para adelante y yo creo que los que estén presentes, ¿verdad? Y los que se estén viendo por las plataformas de esa pelea, pues la van a saber disfrutar y obviamente pues vamos con la ilusión, ¿verdad? De sacar un resultado positivo y solo esperar, ¿verdad? Solo esperar ya lo que queda.
The question was about the fighting styles between his last opponent versus William's style. Renee's response was, no two fights look the same. He thinks that both of their styles will be very fan-friendly. They're both forward type fighters, and he's just hoping, you know, he has a positive result on fight night. Thank you, Mike, for the round of questions. Adriana Noriega from Female Boxing and Fox Deportes, go ahead.
Good morning. I'll make my question in English and in Spanish. William, every time that I talk to you, you talk about always wanting to steal the show. I'd like to know your mentality coming into this fight. Is that the same, what you're going for, going to steal the show? And can you put into words what we can expect? William, cada vez que hablamos contigo, nos cuentas que buscas robar el show. ¿Es la mentalidad que llegas a esta pelea y cómo puedes poner en palabras la pelea que vamos a ver?
Sí, pues la verdad yo soy un peleador que siempre me ha gustado llenar también el ojo al público, que se vaya con ese buen sabor de boca, que valga la pena el ticket. Y siempre me preparo para eso, y aparte seguir demostrando de qué estamos hechos. Hemos tenido grandes peleas, hemos tenido grandes oportunidades donde hemos demostrado de qué estamos hechos, y esta pelea creo que yo la pongo en una pelea más importante de mi vida porque voy contra un ex campeón del mundo, contra un rival fuerte, que tiene hambre, y eso a mí me emociona porque sé que va a ser un gran combate donde el resultado que hemos estado entrenando, esperemos que nos beneficie, pero independientemente de eso, creo que el público va a salir ganador al ver este tipo de peleas.
So William's answer was, you know, he always wants to give the fans a show, make the ticket worth it, make it worth their time. He also wants to show fans what he's made of, and he thinks that this is one of the biggest fights of his career thus far. Rene is a very strong, experienced fighter, and he's hungry, and he thinks it's going to be a really great fight and combat, and he thinks that people are going to come away with it happy. Follow-up questions, Adriana?
I have a question for Rene. Rene, obviously you spoke about getting a victory over William would bring a lot to your career, especially after 3 losses. What is it that you're looking to change, or what is it going to take? What is the key to coming out victorious on this fight? Después de 3 derrotas que platicaste aquí en Estados Unidos, ¿qué es lo que se tiene que cambiar o qué cambios? ¿Cuál es la clave para salir con la victoria en este caso?
No, condiciones. Hemos trabajado pues muy bien en esa área y creemos pues que nos podemos mantener nuestro ritmo en el transcurso de todos los rounds y llevar siempre la iniciativa contra este gran rival que tenemos enfrente desde el 14 de mayo.
So the main response was conditioning. Conditioning is going to be a big factor in this fight, and making sure that he keeps at his rhythm, just because this is going to be a really important fight for him coming up. Just a reminder to everyone, if you have a question, please raise your hand and I'll call on you and you can go ahead and ask your questions for William and Renee. The next question comes from Brandon Stubbs. Go ahead, Brandon.
This message is for Renee. Coming off of 3 straight losses, what's been your mental mindset coming into this fight? And as well, what's been your motivation to continue on after suffering the 3 straight tough losses?
Esta pregunta es para René. René te pregunta que después de 3 pérdidas, ¿Cómo estás mentalmente pensando sobre esta pelea y qué es lo que te motiva?
Bueno, la gana de seguir en este deporte que amamos tanto. Y obviamente pues que queremos cambiar esos resultados que hemos tenido, ¿verdad? De 3 peleas seguidas en el extranjero, y yo creo porque, como repito, ¿verdad? Esta es una gran oportunidad ante un gran rival y sacar pues un resultado positivo para mí. Yo creo que sería como levantar nuevamente mi carrera.
He says, you know, the will to continue is the love of the sport. You know, he does want to change the 3 losses in his past, and he understands and recognizes that this is a big opportunity for him because a win against William would reinvigorate his career. Any follow-up questions, Brandon?
Actually, a follow-up question for Eric, if I can. When you guys were actually matching up this fight as being the co-feature, did you know that this fight has the potential to have a lot of action that really could get the crowd buzzing, because these two mesh very well in ring, at least from paper, in their past fights, seeing how these two guys get down in the ring?
Definitely. You know, Rene's always in good fights. He's always in good fights, with the exception when, you know, he got stopped. But, you know, he comes forward, technically sound. And as we're developing William, these are the kind of fights he needs. And it just so happens that both fighters are very, very aggressive. So when you have 2 fighters that are technically sound, they throw a lot of punches, it's going to make for a great fight. We're very, very excited about this. As you know, as a promoter, you know, we see a lot of fights and we're involved in a lot of fights, whether it's our shows or other shows. But we're also fans first. And this is a type of fight that gets us excited as fans. So, you know, hold on to your seats. We're going to be enjoying this fight.
Okay, so that's all the questions we have for William and Renee. Thank you so much for taking the time. William, Renee, gracias muchos.
Gracias, muchachos.
Gracias.
Unas palabras finales que quieren decirle a la prensa en esta llamada. William, ¿quieres empezar?
Pues agradecerles por su tiempo, por tomarnos esta entrevista, y que no se pierdan este gran combate que voy a tener contra el gran ex campeón del mundo, René Alvarado, y bendiciones a todos.
William says thank you for your time, and this is going to be a great fight against former world champion René Alvarado, and don't miss it. Últimas palabras.
No, agradecido, ¿verdad? Con Dios por la vida, agradecido con la empresa Golden Boy por la gran oportunidad, y a toda la fanaticada, ¿verdad? Que amantes del boxeo, que no se pierdan esta pelea, que va a estar muy buena.
He said he's just, you know, thankful and grateful to God and to Golden Boy for the opportunity, and, you know, don't miss the fight. This is going to be a really big fight. Okay. So, muchas gracias por el tiempo. Ahorita vamos a seguir la llamada con Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Gilberto, ¿nos escuchas?
Hello.
Hello, Gilberto.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, bien. ¿Vas a ponerte en video?
Sí.
Okay. Bueno. So everyone, we have Zurdo in the line, ready to go. Eric, do you want to do a quick introduction?
Yeah. Thank you all for being on the call. I know it's been a little bit of a wait for Zurdo now, as he's the main event on May 14th. But, you know, it's been a pleasure for us here at Golden Boy to work with Zurdo, a fighter that's so professional. He takes his craft very seriously. And, you know, he's been knocking on the door for another world title for a while now. It just so happens that, you know, he was ordered to fight against Bivol. Bivol got, you know, obviously the opportunity of a lifetime. We understand that, but Zurdo's going to keep doing his thing and keep knocking on that door until he gets his opportunity. And that's all we can do, is just keep him busy, keep him working, put him in big fights. And then, you know, everything else is going to happen naturally. But we're excited to have him back. He's probably one of our top fighters, if not the top fighter we have at our stable. And we're very, very excited to bring him to you guys and open up for questions. So thank you.
As a reminder, if you have a question, please raise your hand and I will call on you. The first question we have is from Adriana Noriega from Vino Boxing and Fox Deportes. Go ahead, Adriana.
Buenos dias, good morning. Zurdo, can you talk about how important it's been for you and how grateful you are? You've been staying very, very busy now with Golden Boy. This is going to be your 5th fight in just 13 months. How has all this activity been very important and useful for your career?
It's it's a pleasure to work with Golden Boy. I feel the family with Golden Boy. I found a family with them, and it's really exciting for me to be busy all the time and keep working. And like my friend said, I'm knocking the door for the title fight, and I think it will come soon. And for me, it's really important to be busy all the time because I want to break the record, Mayweather. And I think eventually the good fight that will happen, and it just taking time.
That's exciting to hear. I wish you luck on reaching that record. As far as this fight, how can you put into words what fight fans can expect? Are you expecting this fight to not get to the judge's decision?
Well, I'm looking for a knockout, early knockout, and I think I will do it. And because I've been putting a lot of work in this training camp, like always, but I think this is special because I've been working more than other training camp, and I put a lot of work, and I put everything in that I have in my hands, and it will be exciting. I can't wait to be May 14. That means the fight.
Awesome. Thank you, Zurdo. Éxito.
Gracias.
Thank you, Adriana. Next up, we have Brandon Stubbs. Go ahead, Brandon.
Zurdo, my question to you is, do you feel that you have to get another knockout? I know you said you're aiming for the knockout, but is it important to get that to continue the buzz and put the pressure on the other light heavyweights and get the fans clamoring to want to see you face any of the champions going forward?
Yes, I think that's what I want, to keep knocking those guys out and put a great show for all the fans and make the fight happen, the big fights, and get the title fight. And that's what I want, and that what I need to knock all these guys.
And if I can, a question here for Eric. How confident are you that Golden Boy can get a fight with whomever is the champion or any of the champions for Zurdo later this year if he's victorious here on May 14th?
I think
we're very confident. You know, we've been approached already by a couple of the other champions. So look, we're gonna do our thing. Like Zurdo said, we're developing a family here. It's a team, you know, so his input's very important. His team's input's very important. But, you know, with the help of you guys and the media and the fans, those fights are going to happen naturally because, you know, we're demanding to make great fights. We have no problem working with any other promoter to make the big fights happen. And we're going to continue to do that for him.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Brandon. Next, we have Miguel Maravilla from Fight News. Go ahead.
Hey, ¿qué tal, Zurdo? ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Muy bien. Habla sobre esta pelea, el rival. ¿Qué le ves al rival y su estilo?
Pues es un estilo europeo fuerte que van hacia adelante todo el tiempo. Sé que es un rival difícil porque es el número 1, entonces no lo tomo nada fácil, pero sé que tengo mejor calidad que él boxística y soy más inteligente arriba del ring, así que lo voy a noquear.
¿Qué representa una victoria aquí? Ya estamos buscando, estabas buscando la pelea con Bivol y una victoria que vamos a buscar después.
Pues las grandes peleas son las peleas que he estado buscando como siempre, tengo que pasar por encima de cualquier rival. Sé que esas peleas se van a dar. Con Golden Boy me siento muy a gusto trabajando también y pues hemos tenido muy buenas pláticas. Sé que esas peleas se van a dar ahorita por los campeones que están ahorita un poco ocupados en sus otras peleas, pero se van a dar en este año, primero Dios.
Okay, so the
Gracias.
thank you, Miguel. The questions were what he thought about Boesel as a fighter. And Zurdo's response was, he's a tough fighter. He's difficult. He's a come forward fighter. There's a reason why he is the #1 for the WBA. And, you know, but he feels he has a better boxing style. He feels that he's more intelligent in the ring and he is looking to knock him out. The second question was about Bivol and big fights this year. Zurdo says that he wants the big fights. He's always looked for them. He's always asked for them, and he thinks those fights will happen. He says that with Golden Boy at his side, there have been really good conversations, and he knows that the champions are busy right now, but he's very confident that these fights will happen. These big fights will happen this year. Next, we have Mike Reda from 26 Sports. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you. Zurdo, hablaron de la actividad que has tenido en estos últimos meses. Tenías un racha donde no estabas tan activo. Ya que has peleado tan seguido así, ¿es más fácil que cuando estás en el gimnasio entrenando y como ganar tu descanso ya que estás activo como estás en este momento?
Pues ya descansé mucho tiempo, entonces me gusta estar activo, me gusta estar en el ring entrenando todo el tiempo. Me gusta estar en forma también, verme bien y pues sé que todos los rivales que quieren pelear conmigo van a querer tener la victoria por mi récord también, porque quieren de lo que yo he trabajado, entonces sé que tengo que trabajar muy duro para eso también.
Y la segunda pregunta, ya dijiste que los otros campeones en este momento tienen peleas que están hechas, sabiendo que si sale ganando Canelo contra Bivol, él ya tiene el año hecho pues con Triple G y el último pelea en diciembre. Si no puedes ganar esa pelea, de chance buscas inmediatamente el que gane de Joe Smith y Artur Beterbiev.
Claro que sí, son las peleas que estamos buscando. Golden Boy y yo son las peleas grandes y pues sé que las peleas esas van a venir este año. Primero Dios se van a dar y me voy a coronar también campeón del mundo nuevamente, estoy seguro.
Gracias.
So the questions were about his activity this year. Zurdo's response was, I like to be active, I like to stay in shape. You know, he knows that he is a dangerous fighter because people want to win against him because of his record. He's undefeated currently. The second question was about the upcoming fights against the champions who are currently busy, particularly Canelo versus Bivol and Joe Smith versus, I can't say his last name, Beterbiev, Mike?
Beterbiev.
Beterbiev, thank you, Mike, for the help. And Zurdo's response was, you know, those fights will happen this year. He's very confident that something big will happen this year. Any other follow-up questions, Mike?
I got a question for Eric, if that's fine.
Go ahead.
Okay. Eric, you guys have been real busy now these last couple months with fight cards. How much more, you know, just emotion is that going into with the summer that's coming up and the amount of fights that we've had in boxing in general that you guys are putting on quality cards, you know, every month now, especially with this one on the 14th and the 12th. You guys also have a very maybe flying under the radar card on DAZN as well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that and the nice comments. So thank you very much. We've worked very hard. You know, COVID was, you know, it hit everybody and you know, there was a lot of downtime and we were dreaming about these times that we're going through now where everything's wide open again and we can get back to work and do these fights. So we've worked very hard to get back. Appreciate the nice comments and we're going to continue. We're going to continue to work hard and put up the best possible fights that we can make because that's what we're into. We're making, you know, even fights. And that's what we want to keep doing. And that's what we're known for. And all our fighters want to be in big fights. They want to fight against the best. And we're going to continue to strive towards that. You can't always make the best fighters against the best because, you know, sometimes they have their own plans. The other fighters, the other promoters have their own plans, but it doesn't mean that we have to stop trying. And we're going to continue to try to do that. So I appreciate it. And we're going to continue to work hard. And just, you know what? The future is looking really, really bright.
Thank you. And I always tell Roberto Diaz, you guys don't babysit your fighters. You guys put them in there and throw them into the fire.
Thank you. That's we get that from Oscar. Oscar modeled his entire career that way. And that's what we do. But it's a pleasure to work with fighters that don't want to dodge fighters, you know, and that's what we have pretty much in our stable from top to bottom. We've instilled that in our fighters. And, you know, it's a pleasure to work with someone like Zurdo. I mean, Zurdo was already an established fighter, former world champion. He came in and it was basically simple for us. He said, get me the best fights, get me the best fighters out there. That's who I want. It makes our job so much easier when it's like that, when you're dealing with people that way. So it's, you know, it starts from the top all the way to the bottom. Oscar's instilled that in us and we're going to continue to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Our last question for today is from Guido Di Santis from MDR, a newspaper and website in Germany. Go ahead, Guido.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Zurdo. Two questions. How present and how real is the Abraham fight still in your mind, in your brain that you had a couple of years ago? Number one, and number two, following by is, do you think that every European boxer that is coming across, it's like this brave less without courage that you will face then? It will be quite easy for you then? Do you think, oh, Abraham was nothing, 120, 108, and now it's Boesel, I will do the same thing?
I think it will be the same thing. It will be for me hard fight, but it will be easy for me, like in the ring, because I've been putting a lot of effort, a lot of working, and this guy is German too, and I think he has a kind of a similar style than Arthur Abraham, and that's what I'm really confident, because I know how to handle that style. And the second one, which one was the second one?
If you think that all European boxers, or the European style that's coming to America, to Mexico, they without courage, only two hands high, so it will be quite easy, like it was a couple of years ago.
Well, the European style is different, because they're really strong. They're really strong, and they're really tough mentally. They're tough. They're those guys, and like can I say, I beat Arthur Abraham, and he was really tough, heavy hands, and I think this guy, he will be same thing like Abraham.
Okay, thank you, Guido. And a follow-up question from Adriana Noriega. Go ahead, Adriana.
Zurdo, when I recently talked to Oscar de la Hoya, he mentioned that you are probably the best fighter at 175. You're just waiting to get those opportunities. Like you mentioned, the champions are busy. Talk to me about, is Zurdo Ramirez the best 175-pound fighter?
Yes, I am. And I want to prove myself, and I want to prove all the people that Zurdo Ramirez is an idol, a role model, and eventually will be a legend too. And that's what I'm working hard, and that's what I'm break all the records. I want to get the title fights, and even in cruiserweight too. I wanna get the title fight.
Nice. Can I ask a follow-up to Eric about this? You just heard him say, he's the best 175-pounder, and he's already talking about even cruiserweight. Talk to me about that vision that Golden Boy has for Zurdo reaching, passing Mayweather's record. becoming a champion again at 175, and then hey, maybe even cruiserweight.
I mean, again, that's what's so special about Zurdo. I've had the opportunity to work with some of the great fighters in the last 25 years, you know, starting with Oscar, you can go down the line, Mayweather, Hopkins, Mosley, Pereira, Mora. I mean, you name it. Some of the best fighters, obviously Canelo as well. So I've been very fortunate. And they all have the same thing, the same mentality. And Zurdo has it. That is that they want to challenge themselves. They want to go after the best. They, you know, if he clears out the division at 175, he's already thinking about going into cruiserweight and maybe, you know, heavyweight, who knows? Or, you know, you never know. I mean, he's big, he's very talented, he's strong, mentally first and then physically. But again, it makes our job so much easier when you have a fighter like Zurdo that is willing to fight anyone. It makes it so much easier. And that's what he does. And he has the same qualities as a lot of the great fighters that we've worked with in the last 25 years.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Zurdo.
Thank you very much, Adriana.
All right. Thank you, everyone. That is about all the time we have for today. Thank you, Gilberto, for your time. Any final words that you want to say to the press on this call?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all your support too. Don't miss the fight, May 14. It will be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric, any final words?
Yes, don't miss it. This is going to be a great fight. Zurdo's going to come out firing. He's looking for the knockout. Dominic's going to be very tough. You know, we've studied him. We've seen videos of him. He's very aggressive. He's going to be right in front. You guys don't want to miss it. There's still tickets on sale. You can be there at the Toyota Center Arena in person. Tickets are starting as low as $25, ringside $150. So don't miss that. Or if you can't make it there, make sure to watch it on DAZN. Thank you guys for being on, and I appreciate the support.
All right. Thank you guys for the time, and we'll talk to you all soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.